Oh, let me try that again. Is this going to play? Maybe. You're watching the Start Sit Showdown only on Fantasy Now Plus. Hello. My name is Topher Kurt, but you can call me Topher, and welcome to the Fantasy Rankings Report, where we go through and we figure out the Fantasy Rankings Report. 8 different experts. We compare their draft levels, their rankings, and find out, are they consensus? Are they close? Are they not? I focus on the wide receivers, and my co-host here focuses on the running backs. Welcome, Michael Flores. Hi, Michael. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. How are you? Before we get
I
started, I do want to point out that I love that we're both wearing Bears colors, so it's going to be a great show.
Okay. It's payback for last week. Last week we wore yellow and green. So this week, Bears colors, I guess karma is evening itself out. Okay, so we are going to go through, have some fun with you tonight, give you some pertinent information, especially as the NFL season starts 1 week from tomorrow. I am so excited for that. Been missing it. What about yourself, Michael?
Yeah, definitely. And we're getting started with division rivalry, so it's going to be
Yes.
Vikings week 1, followed by Detroit week 2. Yeah, it's going to get crazy real quick.
Are you talking about the Bears?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that
it's the only
that
team that
means
matters.
that means you're going to go 0-2 to start the season. Okay, real
Probably.
quick. I told my students to check out the show tonight. So here's one of my students. Hey, Caden, thanks for stopping by. Not every student, if you comment, is going to get a shout out. Just I have hot girl things to do on this show. So I want to tell you that this show is brought to you by Fantasy Now Plus and the Fins Talk Sports Network. Subscribe to both of these channels. The links are in the description below. On Fantasy Now Plus, you get to see all sorts of stuff that we're doing. That's where we're mainly through right there. So please check us out. Enjoy what we're doing. And as always, Jamie is here supporting us. Jamie, I swear, supports everyone and their mother and father and dog and everything. I love it. Jamie's a great guy. Glad to have you here. Michael, let's have you start us off with the ranking question of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So this week I was trying to figure out, what do I really want to talk about? And just scrolling through Instagram, I found a little post talking about players that were drafted, left their team, and this year are back. So we grabbed 4 of them. We got Amari Cooper, who's now back with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
He finished last season wide receiver 59. We got Adam Thielen back with Minnesota, finished wide receiver 54. Got Keenan Allen back in LA, wide receiver 64. And then Brandon Cooks back in NOLA, wide receiver 96. So they all finished reasonably close to each other except for Cooks.
Yeah.
Now, they're all going back to the team that drafted them somewhere between 2013 2015. My question to you is, who do you think is going to benefit most from coming home, and who's probably going to finish higher ranked this season out of those 4?
Oh, I think at the end of the day, you're going to come away with Keenan Allen having the highest season finish right there. We talked about this last week, that in 2023, when Keenan Allen was with Justin Herbert in LA, that he was the wide receiver 8. So is he going to go back to that? No, Ladd McConkey's got that gig. None of these other players are going back to a quarterback that they're comfortable with. They're also not going back and being like a bona fide, like, number 2, like Keenan Allen is. It's just kind of assumed that he will be, but he's also been away only for a year. Thielen's been gone for longer. Thielen will step in probably with Addison being gone for first 3 games. Start strong and then probably be a tertiary guy on the field for wide receivers, let alone TJ Hawkinson and their 2 backs that can both be dominant forces. Amari Cooper, does he still have football in him? Like, that's a very valid question. Is there real football for Amari Cooper? They also drafted 2 rookie wide receivers. Jacoby Myers is making a stink about a contract right now, demanding to be traded a week before the season starts. That's not a realistic thing. It's a ploy right after Terry McLaurin got his deal. Jacoby wants his deal too, which Jacoby deserves one because he's been more than stellar. Brandon Cooks, I think he had 6 touchdowns last year. I think he did with Dallas in that mess of a whole scenario. But you still have Olave, Shaheed there. Again, maybe a wide receiver 3, but nobody is gonna he's not going to beat either one of those 2. And who's their wide receiver 3 there? Like there's a clear gap where he is wide receiver 3. There's 2 guys above him and then a bunch of nobodies below him. So I'm going ending order. I'm going Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks.
I like it. That does sound very realistic, actually.
Yeah. Also, this is my brother. Jebby is my nephew. Jebby says hi. Hi, Jebby. Hey, little guy. Jebby? Yes. And then he also says Trey Harris erasure. I am a huge Trey Harris stan. I love the guy. I just think that they're going to let Keenan Allen do his thing. I just think they're going to let that happen. And then Trey Harris will jump in when he can. But he's not going to be a solid fantasy option like we want him to be. Okay. Before we dive into the meat of our show, we've got 2 segments, Steady and Safe and Experts Against Experts. I want to show you what are we using for our data. How do we do this? How are we coming up with all these things? So we go through and we put in all the rankings from CBS, Fantasy Footballers, Fantasy Now Plus, Fantasy Pros, Going for 2, NFL, Rotoballer, and Yahoo. I don't know why that's uncentered. And we go from there. We enter those, do a bunch of math right here. Actually, we use cheats on it, but it's super nice. We go through rank, make tiers of positions. So wide receivers 1 through 12 is considered a wide receiver 1. 13 through 24, wide receiver 2, so on and so forth. And we start comparing what's the difference between these guys. Like, for instance, T. Higgins, we talked about him a lot last week. He's got a range of 10. If you look at just the range, you're like, holy crap, that's 11 as the highest rank, 21 as the lowest rank. But if you look across, 7 out of these 8 rankings have him within the top 15. There's just 1 that's low on him. So you can go, hey, here's consensus, or here's your average. That's why the average is 13.8, even though the high-low is so vast. In other situations, you're going to see somebody like I should have had a better answer on hand for this one. Hollywood Brown right here. He's got a rating of 51 through 68. CBS only goes up to ranking 60. So he's not within their top 60. And NFL Rotoballer have him at 51. Fantasy Now Plus has him at 68. What do you do there? That's multiple rounds. Even though that's a later round guy, there's some big jumps like that. That's what we use. That's what we're going to be talking about. Student says very Kurt style Google Sheet. Absolutely. Okay. And Mr. Wide Receiver guy. If you start calling me that in class, I swear on all that is holy. How Tyreek Hill will do this season for the Dolphins. Real quick, I'm not a Tyreek Hill fan at this point. I would love to see him be successful. I don't think he's going to be there. You haven't heard anything good about the guy in a year and a half, and you still aren't hearing good things about him in training camp right now. 6 months ago, he didn't want to be with the team and he wanted traded, and then he took it all back, and then he's hurt, and then he's not hurt, but then he's sore. There's never any consistency with him. I don't trust him. He's had his moment in the sun, and it's been wonderful and beautiful, but it's not there anymore. Our first segment today, Steady and Safe. This is the part of the show where we highlight 3 players in each of our positions of expertise that consensus agrees on. I'm going to start off right here with Topher McMillan. I think that consensus is finally starting to understand him. If you listen back to our first episode, I go on a tangent. Well, it's our opening question, talking about how rookie wide receivers are definitely undervalued, especially in early August at the time when we recorded that. Topher McMillan was still much lower than where he is now. He's at consensus rank 23 for us. He's got a range of 6, his high is 22, his low is 28. It's a great place for him to be being drafted as a low wide receiver too, because I feel like that's the middling outcome for him based off of his talent. And the Panthers just traded away Adam Thielen, who we just talked about, making one less target for him to fight against. Is he going to be Adam Thielen? Absolutely, if he's on the team. But Adam Thielen provided viable target share that's now taken away. I'm thinking the experts are right with Topher McMillan on this.
Awesome. I like it. I was able to get him in actually a later round in my work draft.
There you go.
So I like it. My first steady and safe running back, we're going Kyren Williams. He's currently at RB12, 11 to the 14 range. Last 2 seasons, over 1,100 yards in 2023 with 12 touchdowns. One shy of 1,300 last year with 14 touchdowns. Past 2 years, just been straight killing it. He's close to 200 receiving yards on top of that. Each year, 2 and 3 touchdowns respectively. Really the only thing that scares me about him, and I feel like this is starting to become kind of commonplace for running backs lately that we've been talking about, he had 5 fumbles last year.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what's going on with the NFL lately, but this is going to be a common theme. Not only it was common theme last week, it's going to be another common theme today for some of the guys I mentioned as well.
There we go. So focusing on all those guys that fumble the ball. I love it. Call them out. Read them to filth right there. Do it. I really like that. He is incredible. He has had, where'd that tab go? Okay, my internet. There we go. He has been in PPR, running back 6 and running back 7 over the past 2 years. He's had 15 and 16 touchdowns the past 2 years. Unlike somebody like James Cook, who had, a season high of 4 touchdowns. Then last year, all of a sudden had 16. We're expecting him to come back down to earth. This is back down to earth for Kyren Williams. And the Rams just signed him to an extension 3 weeks ago of 3 years, $33 million. You don't do that to a running back, especially somebody that was drafted, 4th, 5th round like he was, unless he's got that stellar talent that you're going to be able to thrive on in an offense realistically and in our fantasy world. Next person that I want to talk about is Rome Odunze. I know, talking about the Bears again. Ugh, my stomach just did flips. He is in our wide receiver 3 range. He's ranked wide receiver 33. He has a range of 6, of high of 31, low of 37. Every single other person around him has a range within 3 above or below, has a range of 14 or higher. So he's got an extremely low range of that. I also think that DJ Moore has already shown us who he is. Rome Odunze still has places to show us where he can go. We saw that in the last preseason game. Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, boom, boom, boom. Does preseason equal reality? No. But when you're looking for a connection like that, it can. They were drafted in the first 10 picks together for a reason. Roma Dunze to the moon. I love where he's being taken right now, wide receiver 33. I'm taking him higher than that. I've been taking him in so many best ball leagues. I've it's been crazy, but I'm trying to get him wherever I can.
I love it. I was super excited when they did draft him because there was just nonstop talk of Caleb Williams and Ramon Dunze before being drafted, constantly working out together nonstop.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this is the year where you see that flourish. Love it. My next guy is going to be Tony Pollard. So he's a running back 21 in the range of 21, 25. So pretty low, four spots. He's had 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons. If you want to talk consistent, if you want to talk steady, that's where you want them. The last 2 seasons, he averaged about 4 yards a carry, which the previous 2, he was averaging at least 5. So there is a small downtick there, but he's consistent. He's the epitome of steady and safe when it comes to getting the yardage. Unfortunately, it's not the case with his touchdowns. He had 5 last year. He was not getting the ball at the goal line, but this year I'm thinking is going to be a little different because Spears is now hurt, and he's going to be out for at least the first 4 games of the season. That should translate to hopefully more touchdowns for him because now he should be getting that ball in the goal line.
Yes, absolutely. With Tajay Spears being down for the first 4 weeks, you're going to want to see what Tony Pollard can do. We've seen what he can do. 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons back to back to back. He is not somebody that has been touted like that. He also gets at least 50 targets over the past 3 seasons, averaging that. And his first 2 games, Denver and Rams, don't love those friends. But then you also have Indianapolis, Houston, Arizona, Las Vegas, New England, Indianapolis, Chargers. Not a whole lot of them are going to make you think twice. Las Vegas, yes, but they often get after the quarterback more than the running back from my perspective. I could be very wrong on that. I think Tony Pollard is a smash. I think he's a bona fide running back 2 with proven running back 1 upside. My last guy that I want to talk about is Demario Davis, which is crazy to me. I never thought that I would be talking about Demario Davis. His rookie season had 49 receptions, 561 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't score a touchdown. Then last year, he had 621 yards, 66 receptions, and 3 touchdowns. That put him at wide receiver 52. That is right where he should be being drafted, in my opinion. Yes, they have Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams that come in, but he's in that slot role, really succeeds in the offense that he's in. And he needed other wide receivers around them. Those 2 are not going to steal the work that he has going on in the slot. His range for being ranked wide receiver 59 is only 10. His highest ranking is 53. His lowest ranking is 63. When you are down that late in the draft, if you're looking for a steady and safe player, that's who you want. You want somebody like Demario Douglas that's going to come in and boom. I think I said Demario Davis earlier, who is a very good linebacker. I meant Demario Douglas. He's a late round grab that is not sparkly. He's not flashy. He's not going to give you giant upside, but he can fit into a flex play and give you a really solid week when somebody's out.
Yeah, absolutely. And my next pick, I think, is also kind of on the same idea of as far as trying to get him a little bit later, and you can be steady and safe for you. That's Aaron Jones. Right now, he's right at a running back 25, 21 to 27 range, but he's coming off at least 1,100 plus yards rushing last year. Again, another guy that only had 5 touchdowns. He is getting old. He's 30 years old now, but he's a pretty good RB2 flex guy. He's receiving at least 350 yards every year since 2019, except his last year in Green Bay where he only played 11 games. But he had 408 reception yards last year. So not only is he getting fed the ball on a run play, but they're dumping it to him. And whatever's going to happen with that QB room, McCarthy's going to hopefully be healthy. We'll see what happens. But he's going to get the ball dumped to him. I think he's a pretty good RB2 flex or RB2 or flex guy. I anticipate him possibly those receiving numbers even going up this year, even though he had a nice little season last year.
Yeah, I think if he can hold back Jordan Mason from that job, Aaron Jones, again, he's somebody like a Tony Pollard. He's a little older. He's not going to be that flashy as he was when he was in Green Bay. But I think Aaron Jones could be a very solid pick as long as he holds on to the lion's share of that job. It'll be more of a split backfield, but if he's 1A over 1B, yeah, run with it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our next segment is the meatiest part of our show. It's called Experts Against Experts. This is the part of the show where we each highlight 5 players from our positions of expertise that the consensus disagrees on. We will talk about players from each tier. For example, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, 3, 4, 5, all of that stuff. When you start off at the top of these rankings, there's not much range. The highest range within the top 12 wide receivers is 6. And then you've got some 4s, 3s, pretty standard things that you're going to see. I've already talked about our players with 6 ranges the last 2 weeks with Ladd McConkey and AJ Brown. So I want to talk this week about somebody that I think has potential to be wide receiver 1 overall. And that is Drake London. He was wide receiver 5 last year. Overall, he's got a range of 3. His highest ranking is 7. His lowest ranking is 10. The guy's stats with Penix last year were ridiculous. Yes. Is it a small sample size? Yes. Was it the last 3 games of the season they were chucking it to the moon? Yes. But here's what happened. He caught 22 balls on 39 targets. He had 13 targets a game with Penix at the helm, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 16 yards per catch. Penix only threw the ball 61 times last year. 39 of those targets went to Drake London. That's disgusting in a positive way. That is gnarly, as the kids at the skate park used to say when somebody would do a cool ollie and stuff. Last year, Drake London had the 3rd most targets in the league. That was with Kirk Cousins at the helm. I think with Michael Penix, that could go up. He had a 29.1 target share on the team last year, 42.4% red zone target share, 25 targets in the red zone. Kyle Pitts, the tight end, had the 2nd most with 12 in the red zone. London outdid him in that category twofold, just doubled him and then some. They didn't add to the offense this offseason. They did at one point. They added DJ Chark because they weren't sure about what Darnell Mooney was going to be going through. He should be fine within the first couple weeks. Might not be back exactly for week 1, but he should be back. The biggest concern that I have is Drake London's outcome is really dependent on the quarterback play. And we've seen that with him in Atlanta. We've seen that with him. Last year, he took a third-year leap, and he went from being a middling 20s, 30s guy to being a top 5 wide receiver. If Michael Penix, he won't stick to throwing almost 60% of his throws to Drake London. But if they continue with that rapport that they built last year, Drake London could easily have the most targets in the league next year. And last year, I believe it was Chase with 178. I believe he had 155. I could be closely off on those numbers. It's realistic. He is somebody that wide receiver 7 through 10, he's worth your taking. He's worth taking that. But you also look at the wide receivers above him. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., and AJ Brown. Are you going to draft any of those? Are you going to draft London over any of those guys? Right? Because they all have some sort of safety net built within their play that outside of injury, we know they're going to perform. Even Justin Jefferson with JJ McCarthy. Everybody else is coming back with their same quarterback. Yes, Puka Nacua is coming back with an injured Stafford. But they all have safety there. Drake London doesn't. But he could also give you the highest reward for your risk reward right there. Also, Josh Campbell says hi. Beautiful profile picture right there. Was that taken last week?
That's awesome. My first guy, this one, I think you might like. We're going to go Josh Jacobs.
Woo!
He's currently RB9. He's in the 7 to 12 range. His 4 of his last 6 seasons, over 1,000 yards rushing. He had over 1,300 rushing yards last year, 15 rushing touchdowns. He went off. Are we expecting him to do that again? God, I hope not.
I hope so.
But all but 2 games last year, he had double-digit fantasy points. 7 weeks, he finished as a top 10 running back. To finish his year, just decided he's going to go off. 8 straight games to end the year with a touchdown. He had 2 games where he ran 3 in each. When they want him to just be fed, he eats and eats and eats. I hate it. It's great for fantasy. Don't want to see it. But you kind of can't pass up on him. He's going to get you the workload that needs to be there.
Absolutely. I love me some Josh Jacobs. I have actually traded for him in some fantasy leagues. I am very high on him. I'm not saying top 5 high. I think that would be rough for him to repeat. Part of why he got the ball so much was because Love was injured last year. Also, part of the reason why he got the ball is because he's incredible. The other part of the reason is because they don't have an alpha wide receiver. Let me preface that. They didn't have an alpha wide receiver. We'll talk about that later here in the show. I would like to say that this is our 4th show. I have never brought up a Packers player. You brought up a Packers player before me. Michael went through, made a list of here's all the players we've talked about. I'm trying to avoid my homerism. I've talked about Lions and I've talked about Bears before I've talked about Packers. So take that for what you will. I'm also saving my Packers love for right in the meat when, people need it, which is right about now. Not in this tier, though. None of the Packers are ranked in wide receiver 2. Goodness, no. We're going to go with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 17. He's got a range of 14, which is crazy. as a wide receiver 2. His highest ranking is 11. His lowest ranking is 25. And looking at it, there are people, half our sources have him from 16 above, half our sources have him from 20 and lower. So there's not a whole lot of like, oh, let's meet in the middle, let's talk about 17. Nobody's got him at 17. They're either higher or lower than that. Garrett Wilson, clearly phenomenally talented, like bonkers good receiver. He had his best fantasy season last year. It was the middle of the road for him in target share, which is kind of crazy because he had 154 targets. He was right behind Drake London, who had a breakout season last year. Just so many targets. The year before, he had 168. His rookie year, 147. He's never missed a game in his pro career. He had 101 receptions last year. Each year he has gotten more and more receptions. He had his most yards by one, literally 1,103 yards versus 100,004 yards. He had 7 touchdowns last season. He also had a future Hall of Fame quarterback throwing him the ball. They also lost Davante Adams, his only real target threat that isn't based in the backfield, because you can see Breece Hall and Braylon Allen being people that are going to be out of the backfield getting that stuff. But otherwise, their biggest addition was Josh Reynolds. You're going to tell me Josh Reynolds is somebody that's going to come out there and stop Garrett Wilson from what he's doing? Absolutely not. You know what does stop Garrett Wilson, though? His quarterback play. Yes, we've seen him play with some horrendous quarterback play. However, Justin Fields is a whole different thing. He's a beautiful fantasy quarterback because he runs all the time. He's never thrown for more than 17 touchdowns in a season. That's his highest, 17 passing touchdowns. In that same season, he only played 15 games that season. In that same season, Derek Carr only played 15 games and had 24 touchdowns. Right? That gets you right in the gut. That kills you. Justin Fields is not having great reports at camp. He's not having great throwing power. People are not loving what they're watching him do when he's throwing the ball, which is his primary job. But somehow he still has a starting position because he can run and he's a phenomenal athlete. But is that going to help Garrett Wilson? He was wide receiver 11 last year. He lost his biggest competition. Yes, as Jamie points out, they brought in Mason Taylor from the draft. I think Mason Taylor could be a wonderful contributor to this team. But Justin Fields hinges everything on it. Plus, Breece Hall is coming in with a crappy attitude. He already knows that they're not going to, like, the Jets don't want him long-term. He's already said that. I'm not for this team long-term. They know it. I know it. Here's my last season here. You know, what kind of locker room is that?
Yeah, that's not a good start to a season. But yeah, you're right. Garrett Wilson kind of checks all the boxes almost in everything we talk about. Safe and steady kind of thing. Being a viable wide receiver two, wide receiver 2 tier. But yeah, it's as much as I want to see Justin Fields succeed. He's going to run a lot. I'm just not high on him as far as tossing the ball around.
So let me ask you. Here are some of the receivers ranked right underneath him in consensus. Are you taking him or Marvin Harrison?
I think I'm a lot lower on Marvin Harrison than a lot of people.
I am too.
My work league, everybody's talking him up, saying it's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
Show me.
Yep. DK Metcalf versus Wilson.
I like me some DK. I think he's going to do well in Pittsburgh.
Davante Adams versus Wilson.
Yeah, Adams is going first.
DJ Moore versus Wilson.
That's going to be a close one because I think I'm on board with you where I think Rome takes over some of that space from DJ, but I might still go DJ, to be honest.
Cortland Sutton.
I got me some Cortland Sutton in about 2-3 leagues, so I'm excited for that one.
Tedoroya McMillan.
Yeah, I'm probably going McMillan first because I do have McMillan in another league, and I had the chance of getting Wilson.
What about Jameson Williams?
Yeah, I'm going Williams again. Yeah, that's rough.
So all of that just cleared out our wide receiver 2 tier. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys ranked underneath by consensus underneath Wilson. And you're saying, yeah, I'm pretty much going to take the other guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Except for Harrison, maybe.
Yeah, except for Harrison. I'm just not high on him.
I would say I would take Metcalf, Sutton, Tedoroya, and depending on how I started my draft, maybe some of the others. But I also we've seen what Garrett Wilson can do with a trash system. He's going for 1,000 yards, but is he going to get more receptions? Are those going to go down? What about his target share? Those aren't sticky stats, especially when you don't have consistency at the QB.
Fair, absolutely. Now, I'm in a spot similar to what you were just talking about. I haven't gone a bear yet until now.
Ooh, there we go.
I'm going DeAndre Swift, running back, 22 right now, 17 to 25 range. So a little bit of an interesting range there for him, which I completely understand because when he came from Philly, he was coming off his first 1,000-yard rushing season. He didn't do that much less with the Bears. He still had 959 rushing yards, but it was very hard to watch.
Yes.
So very hard to watch. He only averaged about 3.8 yards per attempt and 6 touchdowns, which in his previous 3 years, he did have 5 each. So that's about right on par with him. But that start with the Bears was so difficult to watch. His first 3 weeks, he capped out at 30 rushing yards. Like, he just was not going anywhere. Then week 4, it was extremely frustrating because I had such high hopes. Week 4, though, he finally did break out of his shell a little bit. He got 93 yards and then went 4 straight weeks with a touchdown. Awesome. Swift is back. Bears are back. Let's go. He had 129-yard rushing against Washington and then swiftly disappeared. 2 more touchdowns for the rest of the year from week 9 through 18. Could not find the end zone. And if I remember correctly, when he was finding the end zone, there was a flag on the play and it got taken back. And I remember that happening so many times, either that or it just felt like it was every game. But now I'm interested to see how this relationship with Ben Johnson's going to go. They both know each other from Detroit. Now, there's rumors that maybe they weren't getting along back then, and that's why he got sent over to Philly. I honestly really did think that they were going to try to shop him and see what they can do, what they can get back for him. If that was true about the whole him and Ben Johnson thing. But it looks like he's here to stay for now, at least. And I want to see if that relationship really is going to be detrimental or if it's actually going to help. I personally, for non-fantasy reasons, need Swift to do well. For fantasy reasons, I'm not very convinced of it, but I have high hopes.
Yeah. I don't know where to be with Swift. We just watched him jump over somebody in the preseason, and that's going to skew a lot of people's mindsets. It skewed mine for a second. I was like, whoa, okay, we have not seen that Swift in a little bit. Okay, this could be good. It's also preseason. You can't always trust it. Jamie Perogue is the world's leading Roschon Johnson fan. He will draft Roschon Johnson pretty much above everybody. Just like 103, I think, for Jamie. But
and while going through this list too, all three Bears running backs are in our top 72.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to plug someone in there if Swift does not perform.
Yes, they do. Something that I was hearing about was people were wondering, is Kyle Monangai going to come up and take that spot from Swift? He was struggling in pass protection, and so does Roshan Johnson. Swift does a very good job in that. So that's part of why Swift is going to continue to stay on the field as much as he is because he is going to help with that pass protection. That's something that you don't think about from a fantasy aspect. Why do I care if my running back's a good pass protector? Because they're going to be on the field, because they're going to be involved. Absolutely. Okay, my wide receiver 3 tier, have fun with this, is Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, oh boy. We just found out a bunch of news about him today. Much better than what was possibly predicted, where he was going to play for 4 games and then maybe be suspended for 10 games and then come back for 4 games. That wouldn't do anybody any good. He is now officially suspended for the first 6 weeks of the NFL season for the driving antics that he had, I want to say 2 years ago. So finally getting some what is it? Consequences for those actions. However, Rashee Rice, when he's on the field, he is Patrick Mahomes' guy. If we're going to look one-on-one for him versus Xavier Worthy's rookie seasons, you might look and be like, okay, they weren't too bad. Xavier Worthy was ranked wide receiver 33 last year. Rashee Rice was ranked running back wide receiver 27. Let's look at their receiving numbers, because we've talked about earlier how Xavier Worthy has that rushing upside, had so many rushing attempts, had 3 rushing touchdowns, where the next wide receivers only had 1 or 0 in the rushing category. Receiving wise, Rashee Rice had 79 receptions, 938 yards, 7 touchdowns as a rookie. Receiving wise, Xavier Worthy, who is in very much a similar position as Rice to take the target share to run away with that number 1 spot, 59 receptions, 638 yards, 6 touchdowns. Rice played 1 less game than him. They had almost similar targets. They were 4 targets off. They had 20 differences in 20 different words. Rashee Rice had 20 more receptions than Xavier Worthy and exactly 300 more receiving yards. When Rashee Rice was on the field last year, within the first 3 games, he had a 33.7% target share in the Chiefs offense. That was the second highest target share of anybody in the league besides the New York Giants' Malik Neighbors. He is going to be that guy. The only thing that's going to make him truly better, and he's also coming off from a crazy injury. This gives him a little bit more time to heal, a little bit more time to feel really solid. So when he comes back, he gets to shoot out of a cannon and be ready to play. He is going to be coming back versus the Las Vegas Raiders in week 7. You can't write it more pretty than that. You go Las Vegas Raiders after you're gone for 6 weeks? Yes. That's great. Now, what about drafting him? There's hype. He's got this talent. He's got the skill for it. He's clearly Mahomes' number 1 receiver. What does that mean fantasy-wise? Being drafted at wide receiver 32 right now, are you going to take some of these other guys knowing that Rice won't play for 6 weeks? Are you going to take Rice over Odunze? No. Jerry Jeudy, maybe, depending on what your league is looking for, all of that fun stuff. Jeudy is a very volatile player. Chris Olave can be really good. Quarterback situation sucks. Emeka Egbuka, he's got the talent. Ricky Pearsall, he's going to be the defined wide receiver one. Stephon Diggs, are you going to want 17 weeks of Stephon Diggs or 11 weeks of Rashee Rice?
I'll take 11 weeks of Rice, to be honest.
That's what I thought too. But most of those, maybe Jeudy, maybe Olave, but I'm taking Pearsall, Egbuka, and Adunze over him. It also depends on what have I done in my draft. Is he my wide receiver too? No, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Have I gone hero RB? I have one running back and the rest are wide receivers, and he ends up being my wide receiver 4 by some luck, or I'm on a turn where I get him as my wide receiver 3 and then come around and get a guy like a Jeudy or an Olave for my wide receiver 4. Yes. Don't just go into your draft thinking I'm going to draft this guy at this spot. Your team makeup makes a lot of sense. What your other people are drafting makes a lot of sense. You have to watch the whole draft unfold and think, especially with these suspended guys or these hurt guys, how much am I willing to let this player take a spot on my bench when I'm drafting him at a starter's capital?
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about the being able to come back from injury, get the extra 6 weeks of rest, if I'm not mistaken, they also have a week 10 bye. So he gets to play 7, 8, 9, and then take another quick rest for a week. And hopefully you get him end of the season into the playoffs as a healthy stud.
He does play. They play Washington and Buffalo in weeks 8 and 9. So he gets a nice little walk in the park for Vegas on week 7, and then boom, boom. So maybe that might help. That might be a really good place for that bye for him in week 10.
Yeah, great call. My next guy, he's on a new team. We got Javonte Williams.
Ooh.
He's at RB 35. His range, though, 29 to 41. Pretty good rookie season, 900 yards, 4 touchdowns. Then got hurt year 2. And he hasn't really returned to what they thought he was capable of after his rookie season. Now he's on a new team. He's down in Dallas. And his only competition right now, Miles Sanders and rookie Jaden Blue. Both of them currently nursing injuries. Should be go for the start of the season, but they're both have some injuries that could hinder them a little bit. Now, he still has a high upside when he is able to play healthily. Week 7 versus New Orleans, he finished at RB6. He had 88 yards, but 2 rushing touchdowns and 3 catches. I'm not very convinced that he's a person that you need to grab right around where he is current. The consensus you pretty much sell is saying that we should. For me, this is kind of a boom or bust year for him. This could potentially be the year that they find out that, unfortunately, he doesn't got it, or that he's going to be there and maybe he can perform. But if Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue are not as healthy as they think going into week 1, then he might start off well enough to take a late flyer on.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. Boom or bust. I'm very much in that same camp of, oh, this could go really well, or this could continue to be what the Dallas Cowboys running back room has been for years. Absolutely. Also, if you hear whining in the background, our German Shepherd is in here with me because she refused to leave the room. Now my husband is home, and now she wants to leave the room because she heard my husband come home. So now she's whining like a big old baby. Next, wide receiver I want to talk about. Finally, wide receiver 4 tier. Matthew, wow. Matt got so excited about it, mess it up. Matthew Golden, wide receiver 46. His range is 17. Wide receiver 35 is his highest, with 52 being the lowest. Let's start off with this. The Green Bay Packers are a stalwart franchise within the NFL, which we can pretty much all agree on, that they are going to be a top half, if not better, close to that top 10, 8, pretty consistently year to year. They don't have an alpha wide receiver one. They have not had one. Last year, their highest reception getter was Jaden Reed. I've been high on Jaden Reed. I love watching him play, but he's been so hit or miss. The Packers pass the ball around a lot. He only had 55 receptions last year as the highest reception getter on the Packers. That put him at wide receiver 45, tied him with Quentin Johnson. You know who had more receptions than him last year? Elijah Moore.
Ooh, that's rough.
Demario Douglas. DeAndre Hopkins as third fiddle on Baltimore. Right underneath him, Tank Dell. Had 51 receptions. Hurt. Yes. Like, this is insane. Jalen Tolbert, Xavier Legette, Tyler Lockett are all within 6 receptions of him. That's crazy. The year before, Packers highest reception getter, Jaden Reed again, 64 receptions. Packers need somebody that is going to come in and not rank 40th as their highest in receptions. Matthew Golden is that guy, in my opinion. He's an incredible player. Incredible player. Not the biggest hyped guy coming out of college, which is completely fine. I get that. I had a tab up and it is gone. Oh, because it had my not Jaden Reed, it had my Matthew Golden information on it. Anyway, I think I can remember most of it. Oh, it's on a different tab. Found it. Sorry about that, y'all. According to Matthew Berry and his website, Fantasy Life, let's be real, Matthew Berry, who was just on the Jimmy Kimmel show, talking about how my guy this year is Omarion Hampton. As we all know, Jimmy Kimmel talks fantasy football all the time. They have a rookie ranking, which puts him at 81 out of 100 on this role model ranking right here. That puts him right around Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, and Ladd McConkey. If that's good group to be around. Correct. He doesn't have the best college production, but his film rating and his situational and his strength of schedule all are improving that. Last year, guess who was being drafted right around wide receiver 46?
I couldn't even take a guess if I'm being honest.
Ladd McConkey. That's why I brought him up. Ladd McConkey was being drafted right around here. I'm not saying he's going to go off and have a Ladd McConkey season, but it's not out of the purview of possibilities. He could also end up being mid. He could be maybe a safe flex play. Rookies, you don't know, but with a great offense, a coach that's been there for a while, a quarterback that has been there for a while and going to be there, the Packers are clearly frustrated with their wide receiver room. They want to build on it. Christian Watson is injured, maybe comes back this year. I think Matthew Golden is worth a shot at wide receiver 46. Right now, he's being ranked right next to Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin's awesome. but his timetable to play isn't until October. And that's injury related, not suspension related. Does he come back? Does he, he had a big injury. It's not just like, oh, I broke my finger and I'm out for 6 weeks. It is, I've been out since last season.
Yeah, great point. And I want to preface this with only fantasy only. Don't you just miss the days of Jordy Nelson?
Yes. I miss him all the time.
My next guy, another guy on a new team, going Najee Harris. He's currently, the consensus has him at running back 46, but he's in the 39 to 58 range. That is a very big range there. It's another, like I said, another guy in a new team. First 4 years in Pittsburgh, at least 1,000 yards rushing each season. Averaged 7 touchdowns a season, which I believe it was like 7,786. So literally, what is averaging 7 a season?
Yeah.
And every single year, he's averaging right around 4 yards a carry. Now he's with LA. His competition is a guy you just mentioned, Omarion Hampton. But the scary thing with Najee right now, he hasn't played all preseason. He actually got injured in the summer, and it was an eye injury. Now, this eye injury has kept him out for the preseason. They're saying that he should be good to go, but this is his year to really show it if he's got it or not, because he's not going to be on that team next year. This is your one and figure it out year for him to show other teams he still got it. And he probably still does, but he's a guy you had to keep your eye on just in case.
I agree with that. You said keep your eye on.
That was intentional.
I think if he plays, his eye might not be there. He might lose his eye. Like, let's be honest. That's a real possibility. For these last two, I am being long-winded again, so we've got to keep these a little shorter. But my wide receiver 5 tier is Rashid Shaheed at wide receiver 54. He's got a range of 16, 47 as his highest ranking, 63 as his lowest ranking. Last year, for the first 6 weeks of the season, he surprised people. He blew people out of the water. We saw hit or miss ability with him. He had 4 weeks where he had 70 or more yards, and he had 3 touchdowns during that time. At that same time, Chris Olave was producing in half of those games pretty well. The other half, not so much. But there were still 2 of those games that they both had above 80 yards receiving. Both of them. Because there's nobody else to throw the ball to besides Alvin Kamara. At the same time, you don't know what's going to go on with that passing attack. You don't know. Spencer Rattler. But Spencer Rattler played without their top 2 receivers last year. He could be better. He was playing with backups of backups that were getting hurt as well. You could also see Tyler Shuck maybe do something if he somehow takes over the job. I think Rashid Shaheed is a great dart throw for your wide receiver 5 for flex play right there, because we've seen his ceiling. We've seen that he can produce most weeks at a 70, 80 yard per game share. That's a great thing to get for your wide receiver 5. Just got to see if that pans out that way.
Absolutely. You're playing best ball. It's a great guy to have down there.
Absolutely.
Throw it up, figure it out. My last guy, RB5, I'm going with the guy that is being called the biggest winner of the Brian Robinson trade. I'm going Ollie Gordon II.
Yes.
He's currently at RB57, but because of everything going on right now, his range is 42 to 65. He is very much all over the place. Now, rookie behind Achan, who was looking fantastic. He finished a year at RB7, but Achan's got a calf injury right now. How serious is a calf injury? I'm not really sure. I mean, they make it seem like it's not that bad, but then also you see reports that are saying, no, it's not that good. Does Gordon see a lot more time early on? Not sure. But they also have Jalen Wright, which now they're saying Wright is more than likely not available week 1. So that immediately puts Ollie Gordon as the 2 if Achane's playing. And if Achane's is expected to suit up, which they did announce today, he is expected to suit up. How serious is it? How serious is that calf injury? Are they going to feed Achane nonstop, or are they just going to use him as a decoy, or maybe just use him sporadically to see what that calf can do right now? But winner of that Brian Robinson trade for not going to Miami, we got Ollie Gordon, and I got him in some leagues, and I'm really hoping that it pans out the way it's looking right now.
I mean, Jalen Wright has been talked up and hasn't produced. And in the preseason, he was looking like a plotter, and Ollie Gordon was looking much better. I'm taking Ollie Gordon as a backup running back. Absolutely. I think that he has potential, and if Achane does have this soft tissue issue that keeps happening, then Ollie Gordon could be a steal of the draft. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching today. I appreciate you supporting us and the Fantasy Now Plus network, us group, the fantasy consolidation that we are. Make sure you come back next week. Check out what we're going to be talking about right before the kickoff, because, well, not right before, but 24 hours or so beforehand, because we've got a show next week to talk about your week 1 starters. Who should you be starting? Who should you be done? Who shouldn't you be? We're done talking draft talk now. Who is playing on your team? You all have a wonderful night. Deuces.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.